Eviction is a big question, and I know the sheriff's office, they have a legal clinic coming up, but go ahead and just say, can you be evicted?
Sure.
Legally, how can you be evicted?
Well, the landlord can certainly evict you even after a storm. There's really no legal protection that the storm provides you. There are legal protections that the storm gives you as a tenant. So if your house or your apartment becomes uninhabitable because of the hurricane, there's actually a Florida statute that allows you as the tenant to terminate the lease immediately. Now it means you got to get up and go, but you can terminate the lease immediately, and then within 15 days, unless there's some provision in your lease that says something else, like the landlord gets to keep the security deposit or anything like that, unless there's some special provision in the lease, you're going to be entitled to get any advanced rent and your security deposit back within 15 days. And if you don't, landlord is supposed to provide you with a written explanation as to why within 30 days of that time period. So.
Yeah, a lot of people were evicted suddenly, saying that their complex they could live in or their home they could live in, they didn't think it was unlivable, but for some reason they were evicted. Now, is that legal?
No. And Ted, why don't you kind of explain, because that's one of the things we're seeing a lot are they appear to have the law behind them where they throw out legal language in their eviction notice, but it's really not a legal eviction, and I know that's something that both Ted and I have dealt with quite a bit. So.
Absolutely, and there's one thing to say you're evicting someone, and there's a difference between an actual eviction process. You have to go through a notice procedure, and then you actually have to file a lawsuit, and the tenant then has an opportunity to respond, and then actually has to go through the court system before you can have an eviction. There is no such thing in this state as self-help. You can't just kick someone out of the house without going through those rights and procedures that we all have built into the statutes for us. So while there were folks that were getting notices that were saying certain things that maybe started that process, until it goes through the actual court system, it's not a legal eviction.